This is the Dinar Chronicle, and you're watching a special emergency broadcast covering one of the most unexpected and extraordinary updates in the global currency markets. If you're holding Vietnamese Dong, this is the moment you've been waiting for. We've just received high-priority intel that confirms a $3 exchange rate for the Vietnamese Dong is now officially active at selected Tier 1 and Tier 2 financial institutions. Yes, you heard that correctly, $3 per Dong, and according to multiple well-placed sources in global finance and foreign exchange sectors, the exchange window has been quietly opened under tightly controlled mechanisms. This report is time-sensitive and of massive significance to holders across the board. Stay with us. Initial confirmations have begun circulating among a small but increasingly vocal group of vetted currency holders and private exchangers who have reportedly received verified screenshots from banks operating under non-disclosure parameters. What makes this moment particularly stunning is not just the rate itself, $3.00 USD per Vietnamese Dong, but the method of its release. Unlike prior anticipated RV rollouts or public rate shifts broadcast by international banking networks, this development appears to be taking place in a controlled digital exchange corridor, meaning it's not being advertised on public Forex markets or visible on common retail banking platforms. This stealth rollout suggests a phased operation, one that financial experts believe is being conducted under a limited-time redemption window, specifically geared toward Tier 4B participants and other early holders identified during earlier global currency audit protocols. The operation is believed to be supervised through a combination of Central Bank of Vietnam regulatory channels and oversight from international monetary monitoring agencies, such as the IMF and World Bank, all of whom have remained publicly silent on this latest movement, raising further speculation that the mechanism being used is deeply embedded in the evolving quantum financial system infrastructure. What we're hearing from insiders is that the initiation of this $3 exchange rate is not arbitrary. It's reportedly been in motion since early fiscal negotiations began between Vietnam and several Western financial bodies during bilateral trade discussions involving energy exports and rare earth agreements. Over the past several weeks, Vietnam has been strategically positioning its financial data streams in alignment with digital ledger technologies that enable secure, cross-border remittance verification. Multiple sources confirm that international banking platforms, including HSBC, Citi, and Standard Chartered, have updated their back-end systems with rate placeholders and are actively processing exchanges for approved clients. If accurate, this opens the door for previously skeptical holders to re-examine their redemption readiness. Legal teams and exchange advisors close to the Dinar Chronicle report that legal templates, affidavit-backed account setups, and Know Your Customer compliance documents are being fast-tracked at a rate not seen in previous cycles. We're also receiving word from Europe that certain high-net-worth individuals have already completed limited volume exchanges using this rate at select redemption centers tied to private wealth divisions of international banks. Now, let's address what this $3 exchange rate means in real terms. For every million Dong held, the holder could potentially receive $3 million in exchange value, assuming the rate remains active and no caps or delays are imposed. However, most financial experts are urging caution. This rate may be conditional, subject to regulatory oversight, banking compliance reviews, and contractual agreements, especially for redemptions exceeding set thresholds. Confidentiality clauses, asset declarations, and taxation structures are all being reviewed at high levels as this development unfolds. It's also important to note that while this update is electrifying for the community, it's not entirely unexpected. Several analysts have pointed to Vietnam's macroeconomic evolution, including its manufacturing expansion, energy independence strides, and increasing partnerships with US and ASEAN nations, as foundational elements supporting such a move. The Vietnamese Dong has long been considered undervalued, particularly when measured against global export strength and regional trade surpluses. A correction or revaluation was viewed by many insiders as inevitable. The only question was when and under what structure. As of now, reports from Southeast Asia are confirming increased activity at central banking facilities in Hanoi, with satellite data suggesting a spike in secure governmental communications over the past 48 hours. In parallel, U.S. Treasury insiders have indicated that covert coordination is ongoing between domestic regulatory arms and foreign exchange regulators to prevent a sudden market disruption. This would explain the quiet, off-market nature of the current exchange window, minimizing volatility while still enabling access for select holders under defined legal parameters. A critical point that cannot be overlooked is the mechanism of exchange. Based on our understanding, transactions are not being conducted through regular teller line banking. Instead, verified clients are being directed to specialized redemption centers or private wealth branches operating under QFS-level oversight. The process appears to require pre-registration, biometric identification, and multi-layered account authentication. For those holding large sums of Dong and hoping to exchange, this means preparation is key. Documents such as source of funds statements, currency origin affidavits, and compliance declarations are likely to be mandatory. Additionally, early exchange participants are reportedly being advised to remain under non-disclosure agreements, particularly to prevent rate speculation, legal conflicts, and potential security concerns. These NDAs suggest that what we are witnessing is not yet part of a public rollout, but rather a transition phase where financial systems are gradually absorbing massive value shifts without sparking immediate inflation or capital flight issues. Now let's speak briefly on the historical context. The Vietnamese Dong was once pegged higher before the war, and its economic aftermath drove it down to near-worthless denominations for decades. Yet, in the last 20 years, Vietnam has made staggering gains in infrastructure, industrialization, and international credit ratings. This $3 valuation may reflect not just market speculation, but a genuine recalibration in line with modern economic fundamentals. Still, caution remains vital, as unconfirmed reports and fabricated screenshots often cloud the clarity during such historic moments. We've also seen substantial movement in secondary markets. Precious metals, particularly gold, have seen minor surges, and some analysts believe this reflects strategic moves from institutions looking to hedge against the revaluation's liquidity effects. In Iraq, the central bank continues to monitor its own rate dynamics, but today's focus is squarely on Vietnam. The Dong appears to be the first mover in what some are calling a multi-phase rollout of global currency corrections, a theory that has circulated for years among high-level asset groups and international monetary think tanks. To anyone still wondering if this is real, the best course of action right now is to consult with your financial advisor, cross-check with known currency exchange liaisons, and monitor updates from credible sources. The Dinar Chronicle will continue to report in real time, but as always, we recommend caution and professional due diligence before making any transactional moves. For those wondering about the time frame, we're being told that this current window is extremely limited. It may close within 72 hours or be extended on a conditional basis.